Hey y'all, welcome to Forking Destiny, because everybody likes to fork a good destiny. No, no, yeah, just a little play. I didn't hear you getting the drums there, Blue. Um, so what are we trying to do here? What we're gonna do here, we've had lots of questions of people saying, I want to create my own fork of a destiny. I want to have it, my own version. And the developer of Destiny, when he created it, as soon as he released it publicly, he said, I want anybody to take it, fork it, put it wherever you want, make it what you want it to be, um, uh, uh, develop it further, add more things to it, and he was willing to put it out there and said anybody can use it, which was a little bit different than a lot of the other developers when you've seen an add-on come out, and most of them are very possessive of their code. This add-on it was developed from the bottom up, and he did take code from this add-on and that add-on because certain aspects were needed and why rewrite stuff so it's not a clone or a fork of Exodus or Gen
Jen.
or salts or this or that. It's its own add-on, and it's written. And anybody that has looked at add-ons and has looked at the default pie will be able to see that Destiny's default pie is completely different than
Yeah.
most others that we see. Probably one of the biggest default pies, wouldn't you say, that
Yeah.
you've come
It's
across?
huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and it's just the way he wrote it. I mean, each coder writes differently. So he wrote this, and I will say as a disclaimer, is it 100% working and the best add-on, nice and smooth? No. It has some bugs at times. There's things that fall short because it's a brand new add-on. He is just right. He had just wrote this. He put it out there, and so is it polished and field trialed for like some of these add-ons that have been out for 1, 2, 3, 4 years? No. But it's got some really cool features and some of the things that Blue and me and quite a few other people really liked. So thanks for people watching. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go through some of the basics of forking an add-on. What does it mean? And now some of these same tools or steps can be used in forking other add-ons.
Yeah.
So it's not just the exact same way that that this can be worked in other add-ons, but it may not look exactly the same. But we're going to give you basic ideas of what things are, how to change names, how to change icons, and get an idea of it. But you won't be able to use this cookie cutter for every single add-on. You're going to have to use a little bit of thoughts on this. And so one of the first things we want to talk about or mention is why create a fork? And what is a fork? All right. So I'm going to say, what is a fork? The first thing, a fork is you've taken an add-on and you've changed the name and icon and all that, and you've started to add or take away or create your own add-on that is different from the first one. So at first you have a clone. So we take, let's say, Destiny, and then we copy Destiny and we change the name and the art. So basically they're a clone. They're exactly the same. And as we go into things and we change more things, we change the menu and we change the settings and we change where it looks and we change what else is in there, it becomes more and more separate from what it started as, what its original. So as you add more, take more away, and create more code in it, it becomes its own fork, and it goes its own direction. And that's how a fork is. Now, if all you do is you take Destiny and you change the name and you change the icon and you change nothing else, you've not really created a fork, even though the name is different and the art's different. All you've done is cloned Destiny. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting people to be able to create their own fork and add and take away what they want from it, not just create a cookie cutter of Destiny and make their own name and then say, hey, everybody, look at, I have my own add-on. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you some basic ideas so you can fork it, take it your own direction, take away, add things to the menus. And you're going to see we've done that in some of the stuff we've done. So that's that's the idea of clones and forks. And I know that some old school developers get all fired up about clones and forks, but people have to learn somewhere.
Yeah.
And
And most of them learned by forking somebody else's
yeah,
add-on.
yes, they did. And it's good to get a feel for this. I will say also as a disclaimer, be careful what you make as a public add-on. We've seen the whole wave that happened this past week of everybody shutting down, some people being arrested or a person being arrested. Be careful of what you're making public. The best suggestion I would do is doing like Blue and I do. You created an add-on or create a fork of an add-on that fits our taste, and we share it with just our friends and family. That's who we're looking for. We're not looking to put it on out there for everybody. We're not looking to put it in GitHub or put it on a big repo so everybody can get. And so just keep yourself safe, folks. Just keep yourself safe in what we're doing here. And so, Chuck, we're going to take a look at some of the menu stuff. I'm fucking forked Disney a while ago. All right, so you forked it, yeah, and that was some of the reasons why we forked. We forked it to change the settings in the menus, and we'll show you some of that. So, anything you want to add to that, Miss Blue?
No, I think you're good.
All right, ma'am. So she's going to run through a lot of the stuff so that we're not jumping back and forth. And when she gets to certain aspects, I will show certain things that are in, say, our version, the version that her and I had made. And we can kind of see where the other, where the Destiny is or was or what it looks like. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, if it's a question about if the subject that we're talking about at that exact time, you can ask that question, but I would ask that if it's a question that I'm going to try to address a lot of the questions at the end, we're going to address those at the end so that we don't get sidetracked.
We want to keep this, like not all choppy. We want to show you step by step how to do it. And then we will, at the end, if you have questions, we'll go back and show you again or whatever. But we don't want to jump from one thing to another, back to another. It'll just be too confusing. So
yes, it will. And now, can everybody see Blue's screen well enough? Through Hangouts, I can see it well. Can you guys read what her text is, or let's see what the chat says, because she enlarged it a little bit so that okay. So Donald says they can read it. Yeah, because we had to make it bigger so that it shows on Hangouts, because Hangouts resolution is not always the best.
Yeah, and if you're going back and watching this later, you want to be able to see what you're doing.
Yeah, you want to be able to tell what we're saying and what that stuff is. So we're gonna go, and it looks like they said yes. So let's see.
Should we get going?
Let's get going. Let's get started on making a fork and the differences between some of the stuff we got going on.
Okay, so first thing you need to do, obviously, is grab the add-on that you want to fork, and you're going to need to extract it. I'm on Windows 10, so I can just hit extract all. I know some of you have it where you can right-click and choose the program you want to use to extract it, but here right now, I'm just going to extract all right in the same folder where I have it. Put it wherever you want. Keep it on your desktop. Put it anywhere. So I'm just going to unzip it, and then we're going to go from there. Now, what you're going to need more than anything is an editor. I'm using Notepad++ today. Sometimes I'll use Sublime. Notepad++ is great because it has a mass replace right in it. And that's the main thing that you need to do when you first make a fork, is you want to rename it, and you want to rename it in all the files, not just in the one main default pie. So just give me a second while this loads.
Yeah, and there for any of the people, there is if you've been in the Destiny group, there is two versions of Destiny. There's the official version, which that's what she's working with. There is also the Destiny fork version, that is a version that her and I that we took from when we created our fork. A lot of people wanted it, but we didn't want to give our add-on out. So what Blue did is kind of made a generic version of ours so that anybody could have a starting point at what we had created, where we were at.
Yeah.
So the menus were changed and stuff like that.
You can start. So you can start with Destiny, or you can start with the Destiny fork, depending on whether or not you want to do all the work yourself, or if you already like the look of ours, then it gives you a leg up. And then you can just change it further, and we're going to show you how to do that.
Yeah.
So
And
we're
so,
going to show you essentially today how to turn Destiny into Destiny Fork. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to open this up, and the main thing that I'm going. Okay, now first of all, you guys are going to notice, and actually I'll open this one first, I think, that inside of here it's got plugin video Destiny. The name of it is Destiny, all that kind of stuff. What we want to do is we want to take the name Destiny out of it entirely, because it'll change it. You might, lots of times when people change it, it's like they only change it in here. It changes the name, it changes, so when you actually see it in Kodi. But the problem is whenever you get like a pop-up box, it'll say Destiny in it still, even though you've renamed it to whatever. So you need to do a mass replace. All right, so what we're gonna do is, I can't remember right now because
search.
And we're gonna go find in files. So what you need to do here is you need to go and you need to find that actual the folder. So for me, I had it in Telegram desktop, and that's it right there. And then hit OK. So first thing we want to do is we want to remove plugin.video.destiny. Oops. And we want to replace it with plugin.video, whatever you're going to call your add-on. So today, Todd, pick a name.
Let's go with, I thought we were going to go with Fate. Are we allowed to use Fate?
I don't know. Hopefully Tan's not going to kill me. Yeah, we're going to go with Fate.
I like it.
So so what we're going to do is we are going to mass replace everywhere where it says plugin video Destiny with plugin video Fate. So you just hit replace in files. Sure we want to replace them? Yes.
And what it's doing here is it's looking through all the files for the plugin.video.destiny and replacing it with the plugin.video.fate. So you're just doing a mass replace instead of going from file to file to file. This is renaming in all the places that it found that exact name.
As you can see up here, it changed it.
Yep.
Okay. So next what we want to do is I'm going to use match case sensitive, because sometimes there's things you don't want to mass replace and you want it to be case sensitive. In this case, we're going to go Destiny, and we're going to change it to Fate and replace in all the files again. I could have taken match off for this one technically, because I do want to change lowercase Destiny, because as you can see, there's here as well. Yeah. But I'm just to show you that I do like matching the case, just to be safe.
And part of the reason also is if for when you go into some of the words, you know, like when it pops up and it says Destiny's doing this or that, you wouldn't want case, it'd be a capital. You'd want it to look normal. So that's why you're doing the case.
Exactly. And it changed Fate up here again. So we're going to replace now with lowercase Destiny.
And at this point, you're almost at the part of most forks.
Yep.
Where they've done this and changing the art. Bam, they releasing a fork.
Okay, now when it came to us, provider names, I'm going to close this right now. Provider name is Darkchild. We're leaving that in because you know what? He made this. We're just farting around with it a little bit. It's nice to leave the original developer's name in there, even if you want to add your own. But sometimes it's a good idea, either in summary or in description. Then you can say, you know, this is a Destiny fork, changed by, and put your own name in.
The key, one of the things at the bottom, that language part. Remember, it's under Hebrew right now. The language summary, it's in Hebrew. Yeah, if you don't fix that, if you don't make it English, it won't show up. So you got to make it EN. Yeah, and then whatever you put down there is what's going to show up when you go into an add-on. You know how when you hover over an add-on, you see a little description? Yep. Or if you open up information and you see that information before it's installed, that's where this information goes. Well, that's where it shows.
Exactly. Okay, so we're done with this.
So do we save it?
Yeah, always save it. Always save your stuff before you close it. It's going to prompt you to say, do you want to save this before you close it, which is good. Okay, so next up, what we need to do is, well, actually, we're good for now, I guess. Okay, so another thing though, guys, and this is a very important thing, is when you have it open, you want to change the fan art and you want to change the icon.
Yep.
Because it'll be the ones for Destiny. It'll be the Destiny. for both of these. So take them out, and wherever you went and grabbed it from, or you made it on Photoshop or whatever, you can go ahead, and I think I just put 2 right in here. This one and this one, just for fun. Crap. So I'm going to just copy those. And paste them in. They go in the very first folder.
And it's easiest if you go ahead and leave it as icon.png and fanart.jpg.
Yeah.
That you want to leave those names. You don't want to call it something else. It's just this is easy.
No, you need those. Okay, so now basically we've got it built. You've changed the artwork. You've changed the name throughout the entire thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to zip it up. So here, once again, in Windows 10, it's very simple. You just hit share and zip. If you're on 7, I believe if you right click it, it'll say send to, and it'll say compress a zip folder. You can go that way as well. I like, this is my favorite. Okay, so actually, sorry, one more thing before I think about it. Need to change this here as well, from Destiny to Fate. And we were 1.2.9, right? Should I change that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to change it from 1.2.9 to 1.2.9.1. Save it again, close it. All right, so now that we've changed the name of it here, and zip it up. I like to put the number of mine in the actual zip.
Yeah.
With it, because you start getting confused as to which one's which.
Yes, you do. That happens quickly.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to open. That's the best place to play with it, because then you can see your changes. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to go to install from zip.
And Diamond Builds did say about deleting the .pyo files. If you've opened it, you can delete. You'll need to.
Yes, I took it from a fresh, fresh original one, so there's no.
So if you've had it open in code, if you have it open in Kodi, it will create those .pyo files. Yeah. Since we did not open it, that's why those .pyo files are not there.
Yeah, we're good. So we're going to load it now. Now this. Normally, when you first install this, you're either going to need the gen repo or possibly another gen or another add-on in there that has all the dependencies you need, unless you have your own repo and you can add it. But Eminence is the one that we made, so I've already got all the dependencies in here. Because what will happen is when you first do a first load up, it's going to take a while to load, but that's because it'll have a whole pile of dependencies that have to load. Okay, so here we go. That's another thing too you can change before you do it is the actually, I'm just going to go back to that real quick.
I posted the gen repo in case people have not had it. That's the gen repo.
Yeah. If you guys are looking for it, the change log is right here. So you can change this to so now say you wanted to I should have done this beforehand, but it's not that important. Take these out. And you could go like, come on now, you little bastard. So you would put the version number. You would say, this is what I changed in this. You know. Something simple like that. And then you would zip it up. So then when you get that first initial pop-up, that's what it's going to say.
Yeah.
See now, this still, like, instead of what is Destiny, it says what is Fate. It's got all this stuff that was on. Basically, all of this is in the default pie, which we're going to show you in about 2 minutes. Yep. But see, when Todd and I first looked at this, we felt it was a little congested. So what we wanted to do was, for example, take NBA, all the live stuff here, and put it in one. And then we all these settings and put them in one. So it would shrink it down from, I believe we're at 10 different categories versus, as you can see at the top here, there's 3. Okay, so next up, I guess we're going to just dive right into that. So we did, if you guys can see this, you'll be able to refer to this once in a while. We mass replaced it. We changed the icons. Oh, another thing, that I didn't show you guys. Now, not only do you need to change the icons in it, like the main icon and the main fan art, but you also need to change the actual icons that are throughout it.
Yes.
For example, these here, otherwise you'll have all the Destiny stuff in here. So in order to do that, you just go to resources and they are right in logos. So each of these name-wise is tied to a spot in the default pie. So if you're going to do a new A-Stream one, make sure you name it exactly this. Otherwise, you're going to have to fart around in the default. Like if you made it A-Streams with an S, you would have to rename it in the default pie. Otherwise, it would not find this. So I
Which,
think,
again, you can do that, but it's just more work. So unless you want to, that's just more work in the default pie. So if you leave the names exactly the same,
yeah, it makes it a lot easier for you.
Just makes it easier for you, but you can go back and change that if you want.
Okay, so now I'm in my Kodi folder because we have Fate installed. So what we're going to do is go to add-ons. You're going to go to Fate, or whatever the name of yours is. And what we need to do is open the default pie. Okay, so first of all, Todd, what's the first thing I got on the list?
We did the change the logos, how to remove items.
Okay, so fastest way in Destiny or in your Destiny to find the main menu is just to hit Control F and go to Def Main. There we go. This is going to be the main menu. So as you can see, if you're looking at it, first is what is Fate, second is movies, third is TV shows. What is that peanut pain in the ass? There we go. So what is Fate, movies, TV shows? So this is where the main menu items are populated. Okay. So first things first, what you need to do is you would, anytime you want to move anything or remove anything, it's going to come on this menu anyway. It's going to come from the if down to here. Sorry, down to here. So say you don't want to have what is Fate. What you can do is, if you want to keep it in case you want to use that later on, because that essentially ties into a big pop-up that tells you all about your add-on, which you can fill in yourself. We're not going to show you that today. But the easiest way to remove that is to just go to like right-click it and go to block comment. So now you've commented it out, and if you save it and you go back in now. Okay, one thing I do want to say too, and Todd and I talked about this earlier, is there are different ways of forking. Maybe you don't do it this way. There's probably also an easier way to be able to see your changes. Unfortunately, just backing out of your add-on for me didn't show it. So I find if you just jump into another add-on real quick and then jump back in.
And we tried clearing cache, and that didn't work either.
No. As you'll notice now, what is Fate is gone from the top. So that's one way to remove it from inside of Kodi. And another way, obviously, is to delete it. Now, if it's something you're never going to use, just take it right out, because otherwise everything just clogs up. So you save again, and now it's good to go. And Todd, what's next?
Next, how to move items, cut and paste.
Okay, so say, for example, you wanted the actors at the top. Best way to do that is just grab it. So Control X. Maybe I should show you this way. So we just cut it. There we go. Now it's at the top. Once again, when you're ready, all you got to do is save it.
So actors will be moved to the top.
And there you go.
Yep. And see, that's just simply moving items around in the in this main menu.
Now this if setting, it's okay. So basically, this one right here, all that has to do with is your settings. It's technically you only need this line here. You don't technically need this one. What this one is for is when you go into your settings, you go to main menu items.
Yep.
Those are them here.
So
in other words, if you don't add that if statement, you wouldn't see that here. Does that make sense, Todd?
Yep. Yep. So the if statement is what ties it in so that you see it as a toggle switch in your
Yeah, and it allows you to turn that off and on.
Yep, that's what that line does.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the 72, or well, we'll get to that when you. So never mind.
Okay, so no, we're good. So what was next?
So it was cut and paste, and then we did that. So how to make new items in the default pie? How to make new items.
Okay, so for example, there is no settings inside of here. Okay, so I mean there technically there is, but what settings does is it takes you directly into settings. What we wanted was to take all of these lists and put them into an actual, we called it tools, put it into a tools menu.
Into another folder.
It's a folder right on the main here so that it would remove all of these. Okay, so what you need to do for that is, this number is really, really important, okay? When you see that, basically, okay, so essentially, I always grab this. It's an elif statement that you're going to need at the bottom. So say we're looking for 72. It's just the fastest. Oh crap, that's because that's one I made on my last one. 42. So we want to go down here to the elif statements.
That was
make a new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see, 145. Okay, so we're going to go. Actually, let's copy one of this one, live TV one. We're going to copy that and right below 152. We're going to make a 153. And we're going to call that tools. Now, what you need now is a def called tools. So we're going to go back up, find a good spot for it. Just for kicks, let's go def network. This might not find anything, but it's called def
movies.
There we go. Okay, so right below that, we're going to make something called def tools, and you need that. And you also need the colon. So it should look exactly like this one. And now what we're going to do is, remember that 3054. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to our main. There we go. And we're going to grab the stuff that we want to put into tools. So let's grab.
Starts at 2980.
Clear cache, update sources, all those.
Yeah, but we want starting at 2980.
Okay, why?
Because that's got settings.
Oh yeah, but I'm going to grab from the bottom. So my rating will leave. Check sources maybe.
Yep. Yep. So it's
for my rating. So
yep.
We're going to go from here up to here.
What about here? Yep. The settings down. Yep.
Basically, we're going to grab that and we're going to cut it. Then we're going to go down to, what was the number?
3054.
Oops. 3054. Oh, it's changed now. Shit, because we cut out a bunch of words.
All right, yeah, so go up. There it is.
There it is.
It's higher. It's higher up because she just removed a bunch of lines.
Okay, we're going to paste these in. Now, got to make sure, it's very important that they line up properly. And as you can see, we want them to line up with this. So we need to back these up. Is that fine? That's fine.
And you will, if you don't line things up on on certain things, you will get an indent issue.
Actually, I just thought of something. We can get rid of these anyway. Can we not? We don't even need them because we don't.
Yeah. Because those are not going to need to be in the main menu toggle switch anymore. Because that's not part of the main menu anymore.
No, it's going to be in the sub menu now. And we're gonna have to move these over though. Can we move the whole thing at one? Probably not, eh?
I don't know.
Oh, we want them to line up with these
Had
ones.
that issue before. And I mean, I'm sure that some developer coder is going to come along and say, you guys are doing this all hard or doing this incorrectly. This is easier way. But I mean, we're learning as we go on some of this. So
Yeah, we just learned this.
so so we're not calling ourselves experts on this by any means. So
yeah,
but these are the things that we found that worked.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got these linked in here now. So what we're going to do is go back to the main because we want to make a tools category in the main. So for right now, it doesn't matter where we're going to place it. But what we do need to do is we need to copy one of these. So I got two kids. So in the first kids, what we're going to do is we're going to call that tools. And if you go to the end of this line, you'll see it says kids again. You're going to want to change that as well. Now, you're going to want to change the icon. So maybe you'll make your own tools icon for this. That's where it would go in there. You would change it to say tools. We're going to leave it as kids for now. And this is the fan art. So if you want to change the fan art for it, do that as well. Okay, now tools. If you remember down below, we changed it to 153. So we need to change that as well. And we are going to make a setting inside of the settings XML as well, where you can turn this off and on if you want. Probably not going to want to. But
above it. No.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah, the one above it. Yeah. When you have it, since she's got them side by side with kids, that's where you can make a mistake. Yeah.
Like the whole thing. Okay, so essentially now you've got yourself a new main menu item. Now, so when you click on this, what it's going to do is this number is really important because what it does is it jumps down to, let's do that again. If you go to find, it jumps down to this, which then is saying, okay, so if this one is triggered, what we want to do is we want to go to the tools def. So copy that, which is right here. And so they're saying when you click that, this is going to open and it's going to have all of these in it. Okay? Does that make sense, Todd?
Yep, makes sense to me. Let me glance over here at the chat because I've been watching you. So,
I'll just wait a sec.
You can mark spaces using view. DDR says you can mark spaces using view. Yeah, it says to butcher, it's easier to mark the spaces in the display by view, show symbols, show white spaces, and tab. I guess that's in the view of settings for
yeah.
C++.
Yeah, that's if you're having issues with basically tabs versus spaces.
Yeah, and you will.
Right now, hopefully it'll be okay. We're going to find out in 2 minutes if it errors.
Yeah, we'll know.
Okay, so basically right now we're good to go as far as we've made a new category. So let's go in eminence just for kicks for a sec. Back into Fate.
Drum roll. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, yeah. I don't see
it.
I don't see it.
All the stuff's gone, but why don't we see it?
Should be right under TV shows, ain't it?
Oh, I'm wondering if it's because we need the settings. Is that possible?
Yep.
All right. So what you need to do now is, there's Cody. You're going to go into resources. You're going to go into settings. And we are going to scroll down to main's a ways down, I guess, eh? Main menu items. Okay, so was it right? It was before kids, eh?
Yep, right before kids.
You copy it, paste it in. We're going to change this to tools. I'm going to change this to tools. And now you'll be able to turn it off and on if you want. So you got to make sure you save that and go back. I'm a little nervous, so I did this.
I know. It's like, oh, live
I did
show.
by myself earlier, but it's
Watch it
like,
not work.
yeah. So there we go.
Boom.
Oh wait, no, but don't boom yet. We got to open it and see if it actually opens.
Let's see if the things inside there are right.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah. So see, so what she did there is she created the folder, and it takes what, 3 different steps. It's the entrit, the def, the elif statement,
and then making a new entry on your main.
And
And you can do the same thing in, for example, if you wanted in here, you know, if you wanted to make something new inside your settings, like another folder that links to somewhere else, you can do that as well, except that instead of doing it in the main menu, you would do it in here. You know, you could add another, basically a subfolder if you wanted to.
Yep. And the thing, in like what we did the same thing with the live. For our version, we did a live because the sports and the NBA and live TV was all live, so we wanted another folder for that. So that was kind of the same.
We're not going to do that right now, because I think you get the gist of how to move stuff.
And the other thing, and you said it when you created it, is that you need to create an icon in a fan art for that particular item. So that would, because she copy and pasted it from the kids just to get the information in there, just to get that code. But see, tools says kids. So see, that would have to be added to the resources. What was it? Resources logos. Yeah. You would create a new icon and fan art for it
called tools.
Yep.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
See, if you do call it tools.png, then in here you would need to change that up in the main menu again. Right here.
Yep.
So where it has tools, and you would change that to tools.
And now on this one, he's pulling the fan art. That's coming from a website. Is that
looks like a lot of his stuff is coming from websites.
Okay, so the fan art, so if you created a fan art and you wanted it in your thing, you would have it, instead of that being HTTP.
Right there. And you can do the same thing with if you wanted to grab icons outside of there. Base logo basically means it's pointing to that logo folder. So in other words, if you wanted to, well, if you look, this one right here, the icon is pulled from a website as well.
Yep.
So you would take the base logo plus out and just put the website in, and make sure that you put it within, what do you call those, quotes?
Yep. And so if you did it for the fan art, you would have to have a base logo, whatever the PNG base logo, and then your fan art inside the resources icon folder.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't realize that base logo means look in the logo folder.
Yeah, he points to it obviously in the default pie. Further up, it'll say base logo means, you know, whatever the root folder is, resources / logos. Yeah. Okay. So are we good for right now?
We're good for all of that in the main menus. Now we were going to look at the settings. Let me take a look at. All right, let me take a look to see if there was any main. I don't see any questions. And like I said, we're gonna. If you had like an exact question about something that we just did there, we can
write it down.
Or you just repost it again. We're not trying to be asses about it, but we're trying to keep it organized so that when people watch the video, they don't have to watch 3 hours of Blue talking and saying, "God, she's got a sexy voice." Oh no, that's something else. All right, so.
All right. Jesus. Okay, so next up, what we're going to do is we are going to play with the settings. Now, Fate settings, there's quite a few of them, as you can see. Got a general tab, source menus, source display, torrents, more sources, quality, main menu items, favorites. Then if you go further down, you've got your real debrid. If you want to put M3, U8 stuff in, downloading stuff, backup stuff. Now, here comes the gen stuff, which I think a lot of people that have been wanting to fork Destiny really liked the idea that you can actually put your gen in it if you had a gen. Well, put your gen main URL is all you need to do. And we also had a fix for being able to use your gen local, which I'm not sure if he put it in this version or not. Todd, do you know?
I don't know. I know that it's in our forked version. I don't know if he added that for.
You'll notice that there's gen settings, and then there's also gen address. So he has a lot of tabs in here, which for me, I found it a little bit much. And I like to have, I'm really weird and maybe it's OCD, but I like to have titles at the top of all my stuff. So when see how over here it just says cache save time. I need a title there like this. See how it says source menus on this one? So a lot of times I like to go through and clean it up. Now what Todd and I did in ours is we combined a lot of stuff. A lot of the source stuff we combined. And right now I'm going to show you how to move stuff, and then I'm going to show you how to combine stuff, and we're going to show you how to change colors. So right now, as you can see, general is at the top. So if you want to move it, all you got to do is, okay, I'll show you again where I found this one. If you're in Cody and you go to your add-on or wherever you're keeping your add-on, if you wanted to do it outside of Cody, but it is nice to be able to see the changes, like I said. So it is in resources, and here's your settings XML. So you would just open that up, and you can see generals at the top. So what we want to do is, just for kicks, I'm going to go find Real Dbrid. Oh, match case. So here we go. So maybe you want to have Real Dbrid at the top. So what's important to know about this is that you should be grabbing from category to category. You can grab portions of stuff, but if you want to move an entire thing, what you got to do is grab it from the category label at the bottom to the category label at the top. And then you just cut it, go up to the top, paste it in, and there you go, Real Dbrid. Now, what we're going to do is you always save your changes. The good thing about this is you don't have to go out of your add-on. You just need to close the actual settings. And then when you go back in, you'll see Real Dbrid is at the top.
And for us, what we were looking at cleaning things up for our own personal taste, but we were also wanting for our own use. What did we want to? What did we want easy? What was the most used parts of our menu of our settings? And for us, that was what we were thinking about. Hey, let's get things that I'm going to go use a lot, instead of it being buried down in the menu or in the settings list.
Yeah. And usually the first thing that anybody does in any add-on nowadays is want to enable their RD. So we made that basically. We put it at the top to make it more accessible. Now, like I said, I like to have titles. So I'll show you really quick how to do a title in here. So right now it just says enable RD at the top. So if you go back to your settings, I like to find it easier instead of typing it out, is I like to find the other ones. Lots of times it'll already be written for you. Here it is. So you just grab that. Paste it in and change this to, we call it RD settings woo. Ooh. Save it. And there you go. RD settings woohoo. Now, one of the other things too that we like, well, I know I like, I think Todd does too, is adding color to yours, especially to your main titles, like in here. So right away, see it's not clickable, but you know that this section has to do with the settings. This has to do with playing a link while scraping. In other words, once it finds a suitable link, it automatically plays for you. But it's just nice to have the titles. So I'm a big fan of that. So if you want to change the color, for example, of, say, Real Dbrid, you got to make sure it's actually like essentially a hex code color. You can't just make up a color like, bright yellow green. I mean, maybe that's a real color, but probably not. So make sure you look it up and make sure it's actually a color. Like red, for example, we know is a color. So when you go in, you'll see it's now red.
Yeah.
So it just personalizes a little bit more, can make your add-on look a little prettier.
And if you're wanting to do mass replacement, here's another place that you may want to do mass replace because you would want, if you're wanting to have all the colors, all those header colors, the same color. If you do a mass replace for what's it, Dodger blue, I think for those headers, you can do a mass replace, and it would replace all the Dodger blue with whatever color was your choice, and you do a mass replace. And the other thing is when now I'll put this in there about the strings po. Do you want to talk about that now? Because there's certain things that are colors that are in the strings po that are actually all the colors are not just in the default pi or the settings. Some things are actually in the strings po. So you have to change.
Yeah.
If you see this color don't change.
For example, right now, as you can see, if you go to gen settings, resolver settings, hold on a second. Like right here and right here, you see they're not colored. Because the thing is, if you go to gen settings, just going to scroll down a little bit. Sometimes you'll see, instead of like having words and stuff, oh, actually, these just weren't done. That's why. I don't know why they weren't done. Anyways, we're going to find a spot, and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about.
I know that was it under the providers?
Torrent player
right there. Oh yeah, torrent player. Okay, that's an example. Yep.
So anytime when you see a label and it's not an actual name, it's a number like this, it basically works in conjunction with your strings XML. So when you're in your add-on, okay, so we'll go back to the main screen here. If you go to resources and you go to language, I like English. And if you go to your strings XML, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy this 30135. And if you go to strings, you find it. That's what it's going to say in that spot, log and debug. So if you want to color that, you can't color it in here. You can't add color to this. You can't do the old-fashioned. It doesn't work. What you have to do is you have to do it in the strings. So what you do is in here, you can just go red just for kicks. And then make sure, I hate these periods.
You got to
make sure at the end you close it with color. And then say.
And that's something you see right there. Hold on. You see where it says, all right, she did the color. And this is a mistake made by a lot of people when you're messing around with code and you're not familiar. She opened it and closed it. And what I mean by open and closed it, you see where it says color red and it's in the brackets. And then at the end, it has the brackets, but it has that / thin color. That closes it. And here's, for example, look right the line above it where it says string ID equals 3134, and then at the end it says it has the little less than sign / string. Each of those lines are opened and closed.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can mess up by not putting that little / or
you need that or it won't work.
Yeah.
What'll happen is if you don't put that in there, it'll show all of this as your name. Color red log debug.
Right. So common mistake. Just watch that.
Now I'm going to go back out, back in, and that should be near the bottom probably, eh?
I don't even remember which one was it. It wasn't subbed. Yeah, it was in there.
I didn't color. It didn't color.
Did you save it?
So, yeah. Oh, I know why. Oh, wait, no, I don't know why. That is in there. Oh, I know. You know what? Strings is an issue sometimes. I think that might be one of those things where you do actually have to exit out and
close it and open it back up.
And well, you know what? Hopefully I don't have to close Cody. We'll try going this way first. See if that fixes it. Where did I have that again? Oh, there. Okay, so I'm going to close Cody.
And DDR, I did notice I messed with it, went to that view show symbols, and what it does is it adds like little dots in
Yeah, so you can tell, that's how you can tell if it's tabs versus spaces.
Right.
Yeah, it can make a huge difference in coding, and lots of times you'll get an indent error and you think you look at it and it's lined up perfectly with everything else, but that's because it should have been spaces versus a tab. So
yeah, or a tab, not spaces.
Yeah,
we actually had an issue when we were using Sublime, and it was issue over and over and over, and couldn't figure out, and went and opened the same thing in Notepad++, and it worked. All right, there you go. Now you've changed that color.
So yeah, most of the ones that are near the bottom here, I found are found in the strings XML. So if you're wondering why you can't color it, you have to go in there in order to do it.
Yeah, and open up that strings one again. The because there's like I was saying about the mass replace.
Crap, hold on one second. Yeah.
Because I know that there's a bunch of Dodger blue. If scroll down, I know there's a bunch of Dodger blue in here.
I don't think there is, honey. I actually think they didn't put them in
here. That provider one, I had to actually change that myself.
I'll just do this. D0. Oh. He didn't use my strings.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So yeah, if you guys go through anything you want to add color to in here. If it's a number in the settings.
And you see over there where it had you can, in certain aspects, you can change whatever it says. Like I know there's a place in where it says it's in Cody's hands now. That's one of the little one of the little windows that says it's in Cody's hands now. That is in the strings PO. So if you want to change it and say, sit down and get a beer and wait for your movie, you can actually change it to where that's what it says.
Yeah, you can write whatever you want.
Yeah. And
I mean, obviously you want it to be, this is
you want to make sense.
Yeah, you don't want to say suck it or because you're not going to know what the hell that means, but something similar. So yeah, that's how you change it in the strings. Okay, so what else? So move it, color it. Oh, to combine stuff. Okay. Actually, I'll show you guys real quick again. So like I said, on here, we've got gen address and gen settings. Now, we decided to put them both together because it's just gen and gen. And plus, it'll eliminate a tab too, which is nice. So once you're in your settings XML again, you just go to gen. So I kept all this stuff in here. And if you scroll down a bit, you're going to see gen address. Now, because I'm going to combine this stuff, these settings in here, I don't need a separate category. Category here, when you see category, it refers to these. So we want to just have one category for gen. We don't want to have two. So we don't technically need the second one. Does that make sense, Todd?
Yep, because you have gen addresses and gen settings right now.
Yeah, so we don't need gen address. Because what we're going to do is we can put that right in here later on. So what you want to do is you want to grab from the settings. This is long because it's 6 things of it. So just bear with me. And you can eliminate some of these if you want to. But, oh crap, I'm going to have to go to the end here. Right up to here. And I'm going to just cut it, which for me is Control X. And I'm going to get rid of this category because we don't need it anymore.
That's basically getting rid of that tab that says gen addresses in the setting.
Yeah, so that's going to go away. Now we're going to scroll up. Now this is gen settings right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it right underneath here. Scroll down. I like to make sure it's okay. Now, as you can see here, we have a nice little thingy. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it your gen. You can call it anything you want. So at the top, we're going to have gen settings, and below it, we're going to have your gen. Now, this is another thing where, once again, I really, really like having a tab that names it. So let's copy that. Basically, when you see this type, it means it's not clickable, essentially. It's not one of the things you can highlight while you're going through it, which is nice. It's just a label. Okay, so we'll put that there, and we're going to call this gen settings as well, because as we said, this refers to the tab over on the left. This will be right in the actual settings as a
header.
title. Yeah. So go back out, go back in. And now we only have the one. We have gen settings with the new header.
Yep, with the Dodger blue.
Yep, and if you scroll down, now you'll see your gen is in here as well. Yep. So it's an easy way to combine tabs because, I mean, nice to have all gen all in one spot. Same thing we did, for example, combined subtitle stuff, or if you wanted to combine sources, or it's up to you where you want to put stuff. But we combined a lot of stuff in ours.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, eh, Todd?
Yeah, I was looking through.
Okay, so I was thinking what you should do is, because now we're showing you guys, there's still a lot here because we only combined one. Maybe you should show them ours, and then you can show them the main and the subs and stuff, and then you can show them the settings as well. Maybe give them an idea what they can do with their stuff, you know?
All right, just so, and again, we made ours and we didn't make it public, so don't, I've already had people ask me and kind of get shitty because we didn't make it public, but no, I'm not doing that. We've too many friends seen that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and this is an example of what you can do. It doesn't have to do it this way, just an example. How many tabs do I have open? There we go. All right. So hold on a second. Let me highlight myself.
Yeah, good plan. I turned off my
yeah, so I can actually have it. So I have this here, and what we did is here we have, and this is the change log. You put that in there, whatever you're wanting it to be in there. You can get rid of stuff in the change log. We tried to keep it to where we know what's going on, and you can see we haven't went to 1.3 yet, still on the 0.7. Let's see. So we had the movies, kids, the live. We went ahead and added all of our live stuff all in one spot. Now you can get rid of that stuff if you comment out items, and she showed at the beginning of the video how to comment stuff out. You can get rid of it where you don't even see it no more. And again, then we moved stuff around. I wanted the last play. Then let's see, the tools. Added this in there. One of the things that we added in ours that we got a little help on is actually, instead of authorizing Real Debrid, we got it to where we can click this and it will enable RD, and then it authorizes it. And you can see over on the left, you see where it says RD is disabled right now. And so we kind of just move that all, because
it's a 2-in-1. What's neat about that is it's a 2-in-1. So normally when you authorize, you would still have to go in and enable.
Yeah.
This way, as soon as you click enable RD, it automatically pops up the authorization screen and enables it in the add-on. So it's like,
it just made it easier.
Handing out that code.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a whole lot easier. So let me, I guess, let me go to the settings so I can show you what we had done in our settings. Real Debrid, detract, and again, moving track to the top because her and I both will use track. Next episode to me is very important. So these first 4 were the most important to us. One of the other things her and I talked about was there's certain settings that are important. And to make it easy for our family to be able to find certain settings, instead of me saying, well, that setting is in Real Debrid settings, and they tell me, no, it's not. And I said, you can click for RD only, and they're going to say, no, it's not there. What we did is highlighted certain items as gold. And these are like your gold settings, the ones that would be important.
Because it can be really, really overwhelming for anybody that goes in when you see all this stuff and you're like, what do I click? What do I don't click? So yeah, we did the most important ones in gold.
Yeah.
The rest you can leave alone.
Yeah, and because most people are not going to mess with that other stuff, but the ones that were gold, it's like those are the ones good. The other thing, one of the things I did was choosing the resolver, because people ask, all right, I have all Debrid. Which resolver do I use? Well, I changed this to this text. So if I use resolve URL, I actually can, it uses the resolve URL as a resolver, not the Destiny resolver. So I will use RD, premiumize, all Debrid. And now it would actually use link snappy too, because since that's been added to.
So in other words, the Destiny resolver is good for Real Debrid, and resolve URL is good if you have premiumize or
one of these
all Debrid. Yeah.
And this was in the settings. It was easy if you look through the settings, and it was just an idea of what makes more sense and makes it easy for people to understand. And when you're making an add-on, that's what it's about, is making it so it makes sense to you and makes sense to your friends and family, whoever's using it. So, and oh, one of the other things you did, and it was this, you hid settings because do I need to see all the RD servers? 99% of the time, no, I don't.
No.
So what Blue did is created a toggle switch, and if I turn it, there are all those servers that were hidden before. Again, making it a cleaner look without taking up space, but not getting rid of it. You know, with a simple flip of the switch, I can make it go away. Or hey, there's a scraper that's hanging. If you have a scraper that's hanging, the easiest way to fix that, if you can figure out which one it is to turn it off, and the add-on will just skip past that one particular scraper. So that was one of the really neat things that Blue was able to figure out, is how to actually hide it. And I really like that idea, because sometimes all those settings weren't always needed. Here, same thing with sources. The golds being the items that we thought were more important. If you want your Destiny to look like every other thing, where it has just the one little window dialog telling you that it's scraping, turn that off, and it's going to look just like most other add-ons, that multi-scraper add-ons, where it's just going to just show you how many links it's finding. The thing about Destiny is, if you turn this on, the extra features, and then we changed the name of this with the window style,
because that is a cool view.
Yeah, this is the cool view. Then we have the random, which it flips through any of the three. The recommended view, which if you click this view, it will get, if you're looking at a horror movie, that's what you're scraping for, is a horror movie. It will give you a trailer of a recommended horror movie. So that's kind of like gives you an idea. And then the cool view was the standard view that you'd seen in most of the other people that had done, where I've done videos on it. That was view 4, I think.
I like the kick-ass one the best.
Yeah. And again, here's simple things: turning on trailers. If you don't want to see trailers, you can turn that stuff off. This setting here was important to me, because what if the trailer is 2.5 minutes long? If I have this turned on, it will not show me the results of the scrape until the trailer is over. So if you're watching, and it randomly picks trailers for whatever you're watching, it will random. He doesn't have set ones. So if you have that on and it's a 2-minute trailer, you're going to wait 2 minutes before you see the results. I leave this off, so as soon as it's done scraping, which is going to be 1:05, 1:10, then it goes to start and show me the results. These two things, again, removing duplicate links. This was, and I've talked about this in other videos, one of the cool things about this add-on, and Gaia does it, I think Saren does it, is it removes duplicate links, meaning you can check certain sites, PrimeWire or whatever websites that part of the scrapers, and they may be pointing to the same website that has that particular movie. So if 3 scrapers are pointing to the same destination, you're going to have a result of 3, because OpenLoad showed you one, StreamMango showed you one, and say PrimeWire showed you one, but they're all pointing to the same source. What the code in Destiny does is, if you have it turned on, it goes through and hash checks it, and it says, oh, those are all looking at the same website, so why don't I just show you that as 1 link instead of 3? Yeah. So you're not inflating your results. You're getting a true result of what that link is.
Because nothing sucks. That seems all fine and dandy when they're working, but when they're not working, there's nothing more annoying than when it starts going through them and nothing's working, because you know what? 18 links are all the exact same link, and that link doesn't work.
And this check links, what that does is it checks the link. It actually goes and makes sure that link is still alive, because a lot of websites will post the link, and it was working when they posted it, but then that link gets pulled by Google or whoever, copyright a letter gets sent to remove that off their website, and they do, or they from whoever hosted that actual that video. This checks to see if those links are alive. So you'll find with Destiny, it doesn't skip as many, because it went through, if you have this turned on, it went through and checked to see if those links were alive. These are completely optional. I find it because I'd rather wait a little bit on the front end than watch it skip through, like Blue said, watch it skip through 20 links that are duplicates and dead. And then it gets to link 21. I'm like, this add-on sucks. Well, no, it's checking sites and it's giving you links that are gone. So that was some of the cool things on this section. Window view. This is when you see your results. This one, this is how the results are displayed to you. Your scrape, what after it scrapes. Let's see. Super fast torrent player. If you have torrents turned on,
I like that one.
I suggest using RD so that you're a little bit safer, or premiumized or something like that. If you're using it and you have this, once it finds a link that is depending on what settings you have, if it finds a 720 or a 1080,
just click on it because it shows you down below where you can choose.
Okay, yeah. So it's minimum, maximum. So for me, I'd probably do 4K for both. No,
yeah, exactly.
I don't even know. I think he didn't have 4K on this. Yeah, he added it. So at first, I think the 4K wasn't on there. But if you're someone who's like, I only want to watch 4K, you actually can make the minimum and maximum. Yeah. So I can make the minimum and maximum for the movie, making sure to hit OK whenever you make changes in here. And then it would auto play once it finds a.
Makes it almost like feels like one click.
Yeah. And for me, if you have it at 1080, it loads in about 20 seconds. I do find an issue with super fast play if you're watching series and you're using Series Tracker. There will be some issues with super fast play. The way that because it's looking for a link while you're watching your show, and then it's almost like you have to wait through the timer, and then all of a sudden it kicks into the enable super fast play, which it almost scrapes it again. So, but I mean, you end up waiting 20 seconds, which is not a lot, but if I'm watching a series, I usually turn that off. Allow free player. This is another thing for people. If you're not, what allow free torrent player is, that's using AStreams, Pulsar, Quasar, Elementum, or whatever that, some of those plugins that use torrents, public torrents. If you're in a country that frowns upon you using public trackers or using torrents, if you're in a country that does not allow that, you want to have this off. Okay. Or if you're not behind it, if you're behind a VPN, you could leave this on. But if you're not behind a VPN, you're in a country that frowns upon torrent sharing or torrent use, you would want to have this off, because this opens up, say, Pulsar or, like I said, AStreams, and then we'll let it play. If you're in a country that, or behind a VPN, if you're in a country that doesn't care, or behind a VPN, this is great because it will actually gives you more sources and actually can load really quick. But again, that's a choice for you to have. Enabling torrents, I have mine on because if I use it, I'm using Real-to-Brid, and I want Real-to-Brid to pull torrents because I'm pulling their torrent sources, not actual torrents. So let's see, we moved some of that.
Put all the subtitles together.
Yeah, that was another. Yeah, there was some of that stuff that you'd combine.
Can you go on?
What was that?
To the bottom. Yeah, log dev. So we combine debugging along with the emailing. So what's neat about this is, and apparently there's a problem with Gmail. I used a and then
it has a security issue. Gmail tends to be a little bit more secure. So,
so if you're having issues, it's a good idea to turn on debugging, and then try to repeat whatever your issue is. And what you can do is have your email and password in there. And what it does is it emails the log to you.
Yeah. If you can't get your own log, you actually can email the log to yourself. So that can make it very easy to get that. Because in the lot of the chat groups or in the Telegram groups, someone will say, this is broke, this doesn't work. And more times than not, we'll ask for, do you have a log? Because a log can tell us where that conflict is. Because maybe the conflict is in another add-on conflicting with this. Maybe your internet's not working. Maybe
it's an indent error.
Right. It could be a lot of issues. And if we have a log, it makes it a whole lot easier. So this is a cool feature.
Yeah, it's easy to get a log when you're on a PC, but not so easy when you're on a Fire Stick.
Yeah.
So this is a way to be able to get a log. And
Yeah.
you pick the email provider.
Yep.
Here,
AOL.
then,
What?
yeah, there's old crap in there.
Yeah,
And
I knew it had because I ended up using because I have an old Hotmail account, and I used it because and it came right to me when I was testing it. But Gmail, the security settings, because you're using your email and password inside your add-on here, and it verifies it, and that was where Gmail said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we don't know where this is coming from. That's using your username and password." So if you put your security settings low in email, you'll get the email. But if
because
you
I
don't, it won't.
got a sort of an error on that. So I used my own then. So once you put your email in there and your password in there, if you scroll down, you can see where it says email log to your email. So if you're having issues and you can send that to yourself, and then you can have a look at it.
Yeah.
And then that email log to any email, I would assume if you know the dev or whatever, maybe he'll give you his and you can shoot it out.
Yeah. And that's if you're sending like that. So yeah, that's how that works. Like I said, with TV shows, I know that one of the things we got rid of some stuff in here because I don't care about what's trending for the last 20 years or 10 years. I do care about Series Tracker, and Series Tracker was moved to the top of our list because when I'm watching a show, I haven't watched anything on my computer because it's a portable version, but I wanted that number one because one of the really cool things about Destiny is the Series Tracker, which is like Tracked without signing up for Tracked. It keeps track of all the series I watch and the episodes I've watched and just makes it very neat. This is a place where if you're doing a fork, if there's certain things you don't care about networks or running series, get rid of them, remove them, make it fit your own taste. Let me show you. All right, so there's the Destiny, which that's the one that Blue worked on, and there's the Destiny fork, which was based on one of our earlier versions of Eminence. You can see it has the live section that's in here, the tools section that in there. So you can see that movies probably has our movie list. Yeah, where I got rid of the 20 and 10 year popular. So this is in the Destiny group, isn't it?
Yeah.
The zip. So people can use either one of those as a base.
Yeah. If you like the way we have ours, then use Destiny Fork. And if you want to start from scratch and move stuff around to wherever you want it, then start with Destiny.
Yep. Yeah. And hold on, since I was in that, I was not looking at any chat.
Move stuff around to wherever you want it, then start with Destiny. Shit, sorry.
Yep. And there's a rookie move.
Yeah.
And I know that let me see if some of the people, there's a few people that have made forks of this. I know that Diamond Builds made a fork. There's Destiny of Death Star is out as a Destiny fork. Kal-El, is that right?
Kal-El, yeah.
Kal-El is a fork of Destiny.
From the makers of URL.
Okay, so I can't. We do have one person that can come on here. Copy. And again, it's not. This isn't all about paste in there. This isn't about. We want every single person to go out and to create a fork or a clone of Destiny. That's not it. It's about creating an add-on that works for you, your friends, and your family that you can use. I mean, this is a multi-scraper. You can grab scrapers from other add-on, from other Exodus or Gaia or those types, and drop them in there. But let me say this as another as a caveat to that, and as a warning. That does not mean grab every scraper from every Exodus fork and grab it and throw it into your Destiny fork, because if you grab all the scrapers from each one of those Exodus forks and you drop them all into your Destiny, and you're going to say, now I have 250 scrapers. Wow, I'm going to have every movie. Well, the problem is you're going to hit every site 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, if not more, because some Exodus forks had multiple scrapers hitting 1, 2, 3 movies, for example. So be careful about what scrapers you put into your add-on. This is not about hammering these websites. We need these websites. And if you're hammering a website 10 times for that one link, that doesn't help anybody, and it only hurts the websites that we all need. That we all need those same sites to pull from. So, but the thing is that if one breaks, the nice thing about it is that you could drag and drop and drop one that to add that to your library for your add-on. And but we're hoping that this answered some questions that people have, because we had lots of people asking about how to fork it, and the developer said fork it. But it doesn't mean that I want to see 20 Destiny forks with nothing but a couple icons changed and stuck up on their Kodi apps, because that doesn't help anybody. We want people to get excited about it and also to try to create new things. Hey, you Kodi One.
Hey, bud.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. And actually, Kodi One with their Destiny of Death Star. Destiny of Death Star. That's a tongue. That's a full tongue.
You pick the name.
About it. You totally.
Yeah.
I'll take that. All right. Yeah, but no. But yeah, it's a cool item. And you guys, what did you guys do with your fork of Destiny?
Well, we actually worked off your fork, not the original fork. So, but what we realized was, I think if you remember when the original developer, he was like pushing these crazy updates all the time, because it's so in depth that every time you move something else it seems to go. And I've been having that issue with the cache. All I really cared about was that it had this amazing section for movies and TV shows, and then it brought everything that Jen could add and did it. And then we were dropping zips in Telegram and everyone's getting excited. And then I think because we attracted it with Death Star, it kind of ended up having, there was one night and it was about 700 messages a night, and everyone was going, nobody could get it working. And it ended up, I think it was Warlock Mark just said, send it me, and it just went in. And I think for people that are going to do it, like you said, don't do 20 of these forks, because you won't realize until you get in it how much work it entails. I mean, it is. I mean, Blue will tell you how I drive her mad, and then she ignores me, and I have to work it out on my own, and then I work it out on my own, and everyone's going, it's amazing, it's brilliant, and then there's another error. And I think that's what people don't realize. I mean, this is constant. It's constant. I think it's a really, the guy who made it built it for himself, so it's really heavily torrent based. What I don't think people realize is torrents proxies move constantly, so you do have to have some sort of knowledge of, especially where I'm from, you do have to have some sort of knowledge. Luckily, I've been working with someone else for a few weeks now who's been teaching me some stuff, and a lot of these torrents that needed to be in there could just be thrown away, and a lot of them was just replacing proxies and stuff like that. So it's not a Jen, is what I'm going to say, and I mean that as a compliment to Jen. Mm-hmm. As magnificent as it is, it can become like a real, you got end users saying, oh, this is broken, and you sat, and we're all sat there saying it's fine, and you dropped a video saying it's working perfectly.
Yeah.
You can't, and then all of a sudden, one time I turned it on and I replicated the error, and that's what you were saying with the log, which is so important for us. But one thing I did notice with the Destiny log is the way it's made. It's not as easy as when you get a log error in an Exodus fork or in a Gen, and it kind of you can read the error. It goes through.
Well, the way he wrote it, where it reports errors. If you look at the default Pi, and sometimes it seems like it posts a lot of stuff. Like when when it's going through your log, the log is pretty. Can't remember what it was. It was like
Video info key error 900.
yeah. I was trying to remember where that I seen it. There it is. Logging dot warning, and that's in there, which was it's actually in there to help into the if there's an issue with the law or with an issue in it and it logs it. There was and he actually had said that that could be removed. And the developer of this, and I don't know if I said at the beginning, he worked on it, created this, and he's busy with his own life, got family and all that working on and other projects. And he said, you know what, I've worked on Destiny, kind of gotten bored with it. Anybody that wants to use it, move on, do stuff with it, go with it.
Yeah, I think what people don't realize is that it doesn't seem like Destiny's been out very long, but he's been working on it for a really, really long time.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, what, 5 months?
Yeah, it was 6 months I was speaking
Yeah.
to him about this amazing thing. And people were getting annoyed to him because he was actually sending out little test bits, and people were like actually not realizing what he was actually attempting to put together until he eventually put it out, and it was like, wow, this is new.
Yeah.
Made me turn Cody back on.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, well, you and Blue both were Plex users, so
yeah, I was hooked. My wife's hooked. We're still hooked on it. But you know, and then you can get in, especially, do you know what, if you keep it for personal, and you know, in hindsight, I turn around and say it should be personal. If you keep it for personal, Blue sent me a screenshot the other day. There's so many ways you can have it look, and for your fan, it's such a clever concept. It's so great, and it'll be interesting to see how many people genuinely can actually take it on and move it forward.
Yeah,
there
won't be many.
I mean,
there'll be many copy and pasters. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll stand there and say that I'm probably at, you know, my limit. As iWatch broke, it came out. A couple of proxies in the UK weren't working. They came out. My biggest thing was the cache error. That was the stupidest error ever, but I just couldn't find it. It got fixed. But how many people can really take it now to another level? I'm not sure there's many. And that's just me.
Well, and the thing is too, like, I mean, when anybody who had a gen knows that all the scrapers are outside of gen and they're maintained by a group of people. Now, these scrapers will be inside of this add-on and basically your responsibility. So if you don't know how to upload them, at some point, not all of them, but a big portion of them are going to die. And unless you can figure out how to find them from somewhere else and slide them into your add-on will slowly die off.
Yeah. But and not to be, but it will last for quite a while because some of those sites will continue to work. Some of your more popular sites will get changed. They change a lot of these websites, and we've talked about it on the show that a lot of these websites get tired of Cody hammering them or APKs hammering them. So they change their security. They change the way that the links are on the website, the HTML.
Yeah, sometimes it's the site that changes, you know.
Yeah.
It's not .tl, it's now .am.
Yep.
But you don't know how to fix that.
Yeah, and they'll change stuff so that the scraper isn't working anymore. Now the site's still there, but the scraper's not working anymore. So then it takes someone to be able to go in and change that scraper. So now it's able to pull from that site. And then I guess probably the website's like, oh, great, we don't have all this traffic. And then as somebody fixes the scraper, then all of a sudden that traffic that's unmonetized traffic because Cody doesn't give them any income. And all of a sudden, their unmonetized traffic goes up, and they're like, okay, they've figured out how to get around the things that we did on our website. So there was a couple things. All right, there was a question I saw Diane ask about the list. If you look in the default pie that lists TV channels. He's looking, if you look at that particular line of code, and if I'm not mistaken, it's actually going to a website. So if you are a person that knows you might be able to change those websites. Most of the time for that live stuff would take you to that M3U8. Ain't that what it is? M3U8 lists, where those are live TV lists that if you're a person that's into that kind of stuff, you can keep those live channels going. Again, live channels, free live channels are a cat and mouse game of.
And that's I think something I wasn't 100% sure on what she meant, but there's stuff you can control in the add-on, like some of those folders and stuff. And there's stuff where when you do click on it, if it takes you to a website, no, you can't control which live TV channels are on there. That's out of your hands. That's on their site now.
Yeah, it goes through there and basically scrapes and pulls the data from that website.
That is not in your add-on. That's outside of your add-on. So you can't just put your favorites there. It doesn't work like that.
I think you would have to. What you would have to do is you'd have to go to that M3U8 lists, create your own M38U list for each of those URLs that are for the channels that you care about. You could create that XML, put that on Pastebin, wherever, and then through your section, your M3U8 section, you could point to that, and then it would just show you the channels. But then you would have to go find the working links. Again, this stuff can be as simple or as difficult depending on how much work you want to put into it. It can be really easy or it can be hard. Hey, I want to send. I saw where DDR posted about the folder like Destiny. If you look at Destiny, Destiny of Death Star, when you open up DoD, Death Star is the very top one. The only thing is when you click it, instead of it saying Gen List, it says Destiny, and then you click it, and then it shows you the folder for Destiny, or not Destiny, for Death Star, and you click it, and then it actually populates. There wasn't a code, or we don't have a code yet that would link Death Star, your gen, directly to the main menu. Am I right?
Right.
Cody, that was a question that we first had. So it's almost like a double click.
So what we did was we renamed Gen List to Death Star and moved it up.
Right. So it's 2 clicks to get into Death Star.
Woohoo! Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying that's you're not able to actually link Death Star right to it, but it's 2 clicks and you're in Death Star. Which again, I thought that you guys have done a real good job with creating something that's kind of cool and a little neat thing.
Can I answer somebody on here too?
Yep.
DDR, he says, but can you go collect working scrapers from all other add-ons? Right? Please don't just go grab everybody's work. And it's like Todd just said. Lots of times, if you're depending on where you're grabbing them from, you could be getting like multiple copies of the exact same website that you're hitting over and over.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, you can probably get a couple, but don't grab all of theirs. If you know it's something broken, maybe look around and see if you can find a fixed one. But yeah, don't just copy paste everybody else's scrapers. That's not good.
Right. Because go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's actually writing scrapers is one thing. Fixing up broken scrapers is not that difficult. A lot of the time it is just as and especially with Destiny it's so good because you can actually, there's a non-working folder. So when like everyone made a big deal, was it iWatch? Yeah, I removed iWatch yesterday. You just grab it, throw it in the non-working folder. And if you've got the knowledge to free it, fix it, then fix it. There was one for the UK, but I'll call it P-Bay because I don't know whether we can say it on here, and I don't want to see a strike.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a case of changing the proxy to get it back up and running. Most people that are going to attempt this can do it. But don't going into thinking, oh, now Yoda's gone, so I'll grab every single scrape, and just don't.
Yeah, and if you go into it for that's under resources done, and then it has different folders. And the thing was, we showed this on scrapers before, and I'm gonna show you. And I know that Wad showed it one time about how to see. Oops, not that one. So I'm in that folder, and so let's say here's Kick-Ass 2. I'm gonna open that up, and I'm gonna open it with Sublime. And a lot of times, here is the URL that it's looking at. And sometimes all that changes is this. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And so sometimes, you can make a simple fix of a scraper by fixing that. Doesn't happen all the time. But sometimes that's it. But if you go through and grab everybody's Kick-Ass 2 scraper out of each one of their add-ons and throw them in there, it doesn't make your add-on any better. And you're going to get the same results because they're all going to be using the same thing. So, don't have multiple scrapers pulling from the same thing. It's not good for the site, the community. It's not good for your add-on. You're not getting anything better. So, and one of the things I saw asked about is Destiny on a repo? No. Well, you probably did, because Eggman put it on his repo. The developer of Destiny said whoever wants to have Destiny can have it, and you can do what you want with it. I think Eggman was the only one that actually put it on a repo. That I know Diamond put it on his repo, but then he did a modded version of his. I'm not sure anybody else, but it wasn't on an official repo. He didn't want it on an official repo. It was like, he shared it in the Telegram group, and then whoever wanted to get it, which to me is in a good way, because it made it not so newbie easy. And you also didn't see the flood of YouTube videos saying, hey, go to this repo and get it. To me, it made it a little bit more difficult for a brand new, uneducated person to get it. And not to sound like a snob, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we have so many people that get Kodi and have no idea about how anything works. And they'll go and just plug this one thing in, and then it doesn't work, and they're bitching and yelling because it doesn't work. Well, if you make it a little harder, maybe you weed out some of the people that are willing to put no effort. And that's sometimes seeing people put zero effort and expect massive results.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not even willing to put in some effort to make this work, but you're bitching that it doesn't work. It takes a little bit of work. And if you're not going to willing to put the work in, don't do it. Don't mess with it. Go get Netflix, get Hulu, and make your life easier. Okay, so I see, and like I had said about the small changes to scrapers, and sometimes there are real small changes. And then sometimes Cloudflare and all that stuff makes it much more difficult. Some of them you have to actually recode the whole scraper, or a lot of the scraper, to regex correctly, and it's so depends. So I don't know if you guys have any other questions, post them over there on the side, and because if maybe I missed some of the questions earlier, and you could. So what's your thoughts? I mean, do you find it to be creating the own fork of Destiny, and you're putting Death Star in it, which so now you get to use the scrapers from Destiny, which again just helps your gens. I mean, so what's your thoughts on forking and your experience? Did you find it hard, easy?
I found it really easy until until the minute it went public, which I'll be honest, in hindsight, was probably a very bad idea.
Testers.
Yeah, I just wasn't. I was sat there. No, it wasn't me. I'm gonna say Blue was sat there. Todd, you was sat there. Mark was sat there, all telling these people that we were right and they were wrong, and there was an error. It was an error, and that's what I said. That's when you realise that it's really, it's not. I'll say it again. It's not a gen, but working out then fixing the error, even though it was one number, that took me 24 hours to work out.
But you worked it out. You worked it out.
Yeah, and then and it worked out. And then loads of people said today, "Oh, it's like a steam train," and it, it is good. I think for if you're new to coding, I would just stay away from it. Just because I think that's the problem when sometimes you mix in these chats. This isn't working, that isn't working, and it can get quite frustrating. Actually, after 2 days in, I was ready just to.
You've got everybody and their dog with every kind of device and every kind of operating system, and old Kodi and new Kodi and everything running it now. Whereas Todd and I, we only give to like 10 people, and if those 10 people complain, we just tell them to shut it.
Yeah, no, and but it is, and I'm sure you guys will say the same, as a learning experience.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyone can just, and I don't mean there's better Exodus forks than others. Of course there are. There's some brilliant ones, Jarrell, amazing Exodus fork, and then there's
Yeah.
then there's some shit ones, that are pulling stupid links. And these guys are writing scrapers and doing amazing things. But pretty much, anyone could kind of do that. But this is the way he set it up, and it's not user friendly, so it's not fork friendly. I mean, if I tell you the version I had on,
It is user friendly though. Like if you set all the proper things to true and all the other ones to false, and you make it easy, you can make it easy on people where they don't need to touch anything. They enter their RD and they're done.
well, I
right?
literally, that's what I did when I pushed the update last night. I almost made it a premium add-on. You install it and it pops up RD and you're good. You go.
Yeah. If they go into the settings though and start screwing around, then it's a cluster.
Then I just leave it to Mark to send gifts at them all day till they go away. Don't touch, don't press buttons. It's a great learning experience. I'm still learning now. I'm messing with an error now that someone's pointed out, which is true. And I think that's why at the beginning people were almost laughing at this guy updating. It was because he was learning it as well. Or that creates that error, so he'd fix it and push it, but then the next day it'd be another error.
Yeah.
So friends and family, I'd remove everything apart from if you've got your gen lists. Great, that's amazing, because I think people, if you look at it long term, universal scrapers will get an update at some point, I'm sure. And then these might struggle a little bit, and they'll kind of go. I mean, I remember when Jay Sergio first did the torrents. Everyone wanted a gen then, didn't they? Because and every gen was
because the first one it was using all those torrents.
Exactly, gen was the greatest thing in the world, and all those gen bashers all of a sudden, wanted to sleep with gen again. So, and I think at some point this will, some of the, because it's so torrent based, they will die off a bit, and then US, and you'll always have that option. Right now, everyone's just so fixated on the Destiny scrapers, which are incredible, but they're a mixture of absolutely everything. Yep. And I think 6, maybe 12 months down the line, it'll get to a bit where people go, "Oh, it's not pulling that well." Well, you can actually press this button because the Universal team have had a rest because everyone's been bashing Destiny scrapers, and they'll be flying again, and that's the kind of beauty of it. And I think how the few forks are there, you'll see that the ones that kind of can keep up. I'll be honest enough to say that I don't know whether I can keep up with it, but there'll be few guys, and the one that's released today that I'm pretty positive will do a really good job of it.
I know that when he first released this, it actually had listed where the scraper came from, but I think he removed that because it used to tell you, this one was from Gaia, this one was from here, this one that. Now it says TV and movies. But that was early on. It actually told you where the scraper came from, which I thought that was a cool idea that you saw that where it came, because he never claimed I did every one of these. Well, no, he pulled the best and he would try them. I saw someone ask about, can you try scrapers? You can go and disable all the scrapers except for one. And then what we used to do is then if we went to that website and we knew that movie was on there, whatever movie you're looking for. So we go to that, we know that particular movie is on that website, and then we would turn on that scraper, and then we would do a search for that movie. If it gave us results and everything played fine, or as long as it gave us results, we knew that it was working. If it gave us the movie itself, then we knew the resolver was working on the back end, which we had no control over. That's how you'd have to go by one by one by one. I don't know if there's an easier way. Maybe some developers know there's an easier way of running some type of script.
Universal Scrapers has a part in it where you can test them all. Does it not?
It used to.
Yeah,
it used to. I can't remember if they took it out.
It'll run there was 7 different movies and 7 different TV shows, and it runs them all, and then spits you out a log basically.
So, but I did like that where you're able to add the gens, and that was another thing that we got rid of on ours is you could put what was it, 6 gen main folders, and then 30 or 20 gen lists in there, and it like when you went on forever. Whereas what we did is like, okay, it's like just a handful of gens, and then we're not going to care about the rest of them because that wasn't the key. I don't know, why do you need 10
Yeah.
gen lists pointing to popular movies? I don't. Popular movies is going to be popular movies no matter what. I mean, I guess it's going to be a little bit different from IMDb than Tracked, but it's going to be pretty close.
I think it's just handy to have the one name, the one main, like you had one to yours and one to mine, and you can have more than 6. You would just copy paste the code you need from the 6th one and make it number 7, number 8.
True, yeah. And yeah, because I wanted to say, he said that you could put like 200 gens in it or something if you really want.
Wow.
Because I think it was like 23 or 30 lists can be added per gen title. So how you have the gen, then you do the fan art and the name, then you could add like, it was like 20 plus for every one of those categories. So you could have just more than what you need, because the problem with that is that all those lists, when you go to Gen 1, all those lists run together. So all the things all come together. So to me, it was kind of like a little bit too much, too many things to try to read, and my OCD is like, I can't take it, and I just turn it off because it's too much writing. Let's see, what versions are you guys using on this in Kodi? Which version of Destiny is at 1.29? I've been using this on Kodi 18 and on 17. And I know that the issue that was Kodi 1 was talking about, that issue that was happening, it tended to be on the lower end devices where their cache was having problems. Yeah. And I think that we'll probably add that fix to the Destiny fork, so that whoever's working forwards on that, if they use that one, then they won't be getting that same simple error. Because it is irritating when I'm sitting here looking for the exact same movie that somebody else is saying I'm getting 0 results or it's crashing, and I'm watching it and I'm like, here's a video I'm recording as I'm live. Nothing's edited. There you go. It loaded, and here's the 4K links, and I click it and there it plays. But yeah, devices matter. Devices matter.
Yeah, gens use, normally if you have a gen add-on, it's using, I'm just answering a question, it's using universal scrapers only. But if you integrate your gen into Destiny, you can choose the scrapers you want to use. So it doesn't use universal scrapers, it uses whatever you pick.
Yeah, and I did a video on that about Destiny, about adding your gen. I showed you how to add a gen, fan art, all that stuff.
The very first setting, Todd, in gen settings says choose your gen scraper.
Yeah, and you choose, you want to use
or universal.
Yep. And so you can choose which one of the ones you wanted to use. Which is, I mean, it's a great idea, and that was one of the things even back in the Gen days we talked about, being able to use the Exodus type scrapers in Gen, and the way that the coding of Gen was so that it really couldn't, the way that it was structured, but we didn't have anybody really working on that that was able to pick apart that code, whereas the developer of Destiny actually integrated it, and you're able to do that. And so it's, wow, this is best of both worlds here. All right, I don't really see too many other questions.
Hit us now, guys.
Yeah, hit us now or hold your peace. And hopefully, I know that Bob J in our Destiny chat was, I want to fork it. How do I fork it? So we've given you the basics here of what to do and how to do it. And you may have to go back and rewatch parts of it to get it to sink in. But, I think, like for us having it, and again, Blue and I did not put ours out there public, and I did a video the video I did was more for the Destiny people that were in the Destiny chat than for, hey, this is a teaser of that we're going to release this add-on. It was not as a teaser to make everybody excited and then me to pull the rug out. It was more, I uploaded it more to show the people in Destiny, the Destiny Telegram group, hey, this is what you can do. I mean, we're not to knock anything that Blue and I do. We're not developers. We're not coders. We can figure out some stuff, and we tinker around, and we can sometimes sort it out. But we were doing it to show the group that, hey, you guys can do something like this to make it a little bit different, so that you're just not doing a cookie cutter of what's out there already, doing something a little different. And that was all about sparking ideas to get people excited and people to create something different. So that was
that looks cool. I'd like mine to look like that.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Yeah. And hey, that's a good idea. I want that idea, but I don't like it they did this.
Yeah, I love the idea that you had to make the specific settings the ones that were the most important gold. I like that, because it's like it automatically draws your eye to it, and those are the only ones you really need to screw with in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is overwhelming when I remember when I first went into the settings the very first time, I was like, holy shit. And I'm looking through the settings and all those menus went on forever. I was like, oh my gosh, there's just too much here. And that's good and bad. And it's not knocking it, but it was just so much that it was a bit overwhelming for somebody to take in. And then as I went and used it over and over and over, then I was able to break it down. And then when we looked at our version of it, we decided, hey, let's make this even easier for us to figure out. And you can, if you use the Destiny Fork version, you're able to take a look at what was done in there and say, oh, that's how they did that. I can look at that little code. I can find that. Because what is how many lines is
it's like 14,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking 15,000. I was thinking 15,000 lines, because it is a lot. I mean, in that default pie, I mean, like I said, most default pies for other add-ons are a lot smaller, so it becomes overwhelming when you go in there, and it's just, maybe a full-fledged developer could say, yeah, that's not a problem at all. But for us nobodies, yeah, that was oof, that's a biggie. I like them like that. Mm-hmm.
DDR said, can you add the fix to the original Destiny? I don't know. Is she talking about the cat?
Yeah, probably the cache issue.
Yeah. You can. It's funny that it was never ever brought up. I think it's because most people in that Destiny chat were quite advanced users, so probably had quite advanced
probably
systems, and it wasn't until it got to the real end user stage that it was noticed that it wasn't working on Fire First Sticks. It wasn't working on mobile phones.
Yeah.
Someone actually asked why it wasn't working on a mobile phone.
Hey, our Blue Diamond asked, why was this released with torrents on? The reason why is the developer of this is in a country that torrents are not an issue.
Totally legal.
They can watch torrents all they want. So for him and his friends and family, torrents are every day. They can use them and not a worry on it. So him creating that it seemed simple. And I remember the first time he released it, and I chatted with him on Telegram, and I said, you've got to put a warning or something. I said, because people in the US and in the UK or Canada are going to have a major issue if they think they can use this add-on with torrents turned on and no problem. He says, I don't understand what the issue is. I said, that doesn't go real well with those countries. Those countries are heavy on stopping you from using torrents and stuff like that. I said, so you can't do it. So it's just because he was able to do it. He was where he is. So that's why he turned them on. That's why the free torrent player was turned on. There was no problem for him to use it. It wasn't until it became a global add-on that, like you, Cody, says, when you have a small segment of people testing it, and it's not a problem. But then when you go to a large segment, then there's all those other variables that are coming into what device or what country are they in. And then that was when and that was why he added that little torrent warning to say, hey, know the laws of your country. This may or may not be legal. You need to know. Because he didn't want people getting in trouble for using his add-on, because he would never got in trouble for using it in his country, but he didn't realize that other countries you could. So
in other words, turn it off if you don't want it on, and if you're going to fork it and you don't want people to have it grayed out, then set it false.
Yeah, and I use it The premium services, if you're going to use that stuff, Real Debrid, Premiumized, All Debrid, Link Snappy, all those kind of stuff you can use with this type of add-on, and then you're protected because the torrent you're not downloading the torrent. You're actually just watching it on the RD or Premiumized or All Debrid servers because they have it. So that's why if you're using a torrent, it'll say torrent on the or a magnet, or it'll have something like that on through Destiny. You're not really, it's not an issue if you have torrent, if you have free torrent, was it free player turned off, and you're using a premium service, you're watching it off of Real Debrid or Premiumized or All Debrid. You're not watching it from the Swarm. Swarm is a torrent where that's where a letter can come to you through your ISP that you were watching a TV show or movie that you shouldn't have been watching because you are breaking copyright laws. So
that's also pretty cool, isn't it, now? Because we've always said, well, for the past year, probably, the way the websites are going, that Real Debrid is a must. And now it's not. If you've got a VPN, it's not a must because they're actually there. So he's totally turned it on its head, really, in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a VPN, although I don't know why you'd have a VPN and not have Real Debrid, because it's both. But if you just didn't and you just had a VPN, then you get the best. Then you get the best both worlds.
Yep. And it does offer that kind of stuff. So it's a it all in what fits you, what fits your taste, your setup, what you have. That if you have certain things, I've never told people you have to get Real Debrid. You don't. It's going to take you a little longer to find links. You may not find the quality that some other places, but you're not paying the $3 to $10 a month, depending on which service you're using. So it fits whatever you're wanting to do.
Yeah, like I'll say for the desktop version, the torrent and the Real Debrid ones, but the free ones, that's the reason you download. As soon as you download the desktop version, Destiny of Desktop, it will pop up Real Debrid because that in essence is a premium add-on.
Yeah.
Unless you go and disable it, and then I would even still advise you to use the universal scrapers for free. But I've got no interest in and neither did the other guys that I'm doing it with have any interest in maintaining the free scrapers. That's just me being honest. I haven't got the time.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work. Heather Bogacino, how you doing, bud? So yeah, there's a lot of options, and like I said, I've had premium services, and I've moved to it for my own taste, because I got tired of looking for links, and I'm, now that I have a 4K TV, I want to watch 4K, and you are not, or I won't say you won't, because I'm sure someone's going to say, well, I found a 4K on a free server. Yeah, maybe, but it's going to be really, really hard to find. Whereas for RD or a premium service, I can find some 4K if it's available. I mean, 4K is not an end game. So, but if it's out there, I'm gonna be able to watch it. I'm probably gonna be able to watch it unless there's limitations from my ISP or my network in my home. That can be an issue that I did find with my Shield when I was trying to use some of the Wi-Fi issues, trying to stream 4K. I did find some issues with my Wi-Fi issue. Yeah, whichever one works for you. Real Debrid is going to be the least expensive. Real Debrid has the largest library of cached movies, TV shows, but it does have its issues. We do see downtimes. We do see times when Real Debrid is being overwhelmed, because what's happening is so many people are trying to cache movies and TV on Real Debrid. They become overwhelmed. So that Real Debrid loses a little bit there. Premiumized has the VPN service linked in with it. Storage, this gives you a bunch of storage that you're able to store stuff on there. It tends to be a little bit better service, but you're paying more for it. Aldebrid is a little bit more than real Debrid, and if you use a coupon, you actually can get it for a decent price. I'm sure that they do not have as much stuff cached, saved already on their servers as you would find in Premiumize or Real Debrid. Link Snappy being very new, its cost is high. They do offer some storage space on them, and they are just starting to increase their cached library, the stuff that is cached. They're still working on that. The thing about with stuff being cached, I actually was looking for a movie through RapidGator. I went to scene release, and there's RapidGator for a certain video, and I clicked it, and it said this movie's been removed, or this video has been removed. And I went to the other link, this video's been removed. The thing about it is, if it gets cached on one of the premium hosts, then it's on that premium host, even if it's removed from RapidGator. That premium host has it. So if you have a premium service, you're able to still access that particular video because it's on their server, not on that RapidGator or Upload Gig or whoever. So that's a benefit once it gets cached to those servers. And with, I did the video with Link Snappy guy, and I didn't show. I actually should have showed that you can do a lot of the same stuff I showed in the Real Debrid tips and tricks. I can add links in there, and it can actually save it for me. I can download it directly. I can watch it right from the website, as well as adding torrents. I can add torrents to that, and the torrents, I can add that to their cached library, and then I can watch it. One of the things that I did talk to Twilight today, some of the people that gave email addresses, their ISP blocked for possible spam when he was sending them the codes. So if you're one of the people that won, I've got a list of the people that won. If you're one of the people that won, if you get with me and I can get your information to him, if there's a way to get you that code, because like I said, he said the only 2 people had redeemed their codes. Excuse me, 2 people had redeemed their vouchers, and it was 2 or 3 were blocked by the email ISP. Oh, excuse me. So, just to be aware. So if you won last night or 2 nights ago, get with me, or you can tweet him and get some information, because he has the vouchers, and he said, they're here for the people that won.
It's quite good. I've been quite impressed so far, considering it's so new.
Yeah, and I
had a problem with Resolve URL at the beginning, but once I got the same problem that he had on the live show.
Yeah.
But I had that issue. But once I got it in, because it's how new is it? It's less than a month.
Well, it's been around for a couple of years, but he's talked to them about looking at the option of Kodi as one of their selling points. And that was when he came to him about making the plugin for Resolve URL. And then they were like, oh, well, we didn't even realize that was one of our options. And we are looking at, so they are in the process of adding services tailored to a Kodi user, if you see what I'm saying. So That's why they don't have all the movies yet. They're still working towards that, but they're looking at what does the Kodi user want and need, and what can we offer so that we're capturing that customer. And that's they're new to the Kodi part of it, but he said they're very open, because I actually had a couple comments about their website, some issues I had signing up, and I said, hey, I had issues with this and this.
You can actually say what the issue is as well.
Yeah, and he said, well, I'll let them know about that issue right away. He says, because they've been listening to me about. He says because they're trying to make the website better, and so it was simple little things, but we'll see where that goes. It's a great option. I actually think that this type of service is going to really take off, like VPNs did 2 years ago. I think this is going to be the new service, like VPNs were. I remember when we first started talking about VPNs 2 years ago, and nobody had a VPN back then. Now, over half the Kodi users are using a VPN?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and premiumized again. They Brown Walker says, their customer service. I have heard good things about customer service. I do know that Real to Brid's customer service sometimes is not the not the greatest. If you're having issues, they are not warm and fuzzy people to hold your hand and to help you along. They're pretty clear cut, cookie cutter answers, and so
they're not. But you do get what you pay for. To be
yeah.
fair. And Real to Brid does they blocked me on Twitter, but you can't knock it. I have Real to Brid and I have premium thighs, and you pay a lot more for premium thighs. And to be fair, you can go on the website and talk to them and say, I have a problem with this add-on in Cody, and they will say, no worries, let's have a look at it. But you can't expect that for Real to Brid, and you can't get angry when you're paying like $3 for it.
Yeah.
You just accept it. Absolutely. But I do think this link snappy going. I might fall in between kind of the Real to Brid and the premium thighs. Speaking to them on the website, because I had a bit of an issue with logging in and stuff. And the way they're kind of developing it for Cody, I feel they listen, it's only been 2 days, but I did have a few issues. They know what the target market is. They know where they're going with it, and they seem like they're quite determined in giving you a good service.
Yeah.
A really good value for money, anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll actually, and I know Twilight had a code that you can get 50% off. So I posted that in there. So if you're a person that wants to try it out, save 50%. So instead of paying that, what was it, $52 for 6 months US, you can get 50% off of that. So it was 50% off, and I think 1 terabyte of storage that you're able to store, which I didn't know about. I didn't understand the storage. I didn't understand that feature, but I didn't really look into it that much. Diane, I've got Spectrum. I have not been throttled. The only time I've had issues with 4K is when I was using my Wi-Fi. I use a PowerLink adapter, which I've talked about numerous times on shows. My power line adapter right there at my router. And then I have my power line adapter that goes into my NVIDIA Shield over there, and I have no problem. And I actually watched some of the 4K I've watched in the upwards of the 60 gig version of 4K, which I used to have issues when I was trying to do Wi-Fi. I would have to keep my 4K at about 12 gigs. But now I'm doing 60, and I haven't had any issue. Maybe reset your router modem. Yeah. Maybe that's a problem. But I'm in Alamance County, and it's working for me. Hey, Diane, anytime you're over towards this direction, let me know. We can go have lunch. Hey, I'm all about. Hey, Blue will tell you, I'm all about meeting folks. I like meeting folks. And,
oh God, yeah.
Yeah, going hanging out.
Social butterfly, that one there.
Oh yeah, that one there.
Shut it.
Lou, I'm using this is the Zykel. I'm using the Zykel, which this one I actually bought on sale. It was $80. It came with the one here, but it actually has the Wi-Fi extender on that one. It has like the 2 little pieces that come out, which is no longer available for their version of it. But I actually could plug that up in the bedroom. I could plug that up in the bedroom, and it creates another Wi-Fi network. It's a Wi-Fi extender, but you actually connect to that Wi-Fi. So I could actually connect if I wanted to use Wi-Fi in the bedroom without being wired. I could do that, and it would broadcast a signal within that area. So
what in the bedroom?
Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Wait, RedTube sometimes available. Sometimes when you can't sleep, you need to watch a movie, or at least part of the movie.
At least 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh, come on now, 4.5. Okay. And Grindhouse, right? Some sources get blocked in certain countries. Antivirus, antivirus. If you're using a computer, will block certain things. Should Wake Forest? Yeah, you're Wake Forest. I'm surprised you don't have the Google Fiber down there. All right, so I don't know if there's any other. I don't see any.
People get confused with 4K. So what's true 4K? I don't know. So I was just reading Kevin Shaw. I know that I'm guessing when you watch a 4K film, it's not always through Kodi. I'm guessing you're grabbing a true 4K off something.
Sometimes I have. I've downloaded it and put it on there, but then I'll stream it. And there is times where I've streamed and I can tell that it's not. It's more upscaled, but it looks damn good.
Yeah, that's good. I just think you're looking at what, 30 gig and above for close to really good 4K. Exactly.
Do that.
I've been asking. Blue will not put all those 60 gig. I want them 60 gigs on her Plex. And she's like, I'm not doing that. You're using up all my space.
Well, the thing is, I mean, honestly, I'm good enough with 1080. I don't want to see people's pores. I don't want to see their zits. I'm sorry, but I'd rather have them a little fuzzy almost, because then they look smoother, and I don't know, it's gross. Like, have you noticed that? Even with 1080, you can see the pores in their skin. I'm okay with not seeing that.
I have seen that in some of
I've changed my Plex because he's filling up, and I've gone to 720 on a lot of things.
Yeah, me too. You know what I've been doing? I've been doing 1080 movies and 720 TV shows. Yeah,
except for Game of Thrones, I did 1080 TV.
Yeah,
but I had to. I had to, but no, I never. Yeah, not on Plex, and even for some, depending on the film, if I'm grabbing a film, I'll change it. Like obviously, Endgame. Yeah, not gonna watch it in 720, but if you're watching like some cool indie film, you don't even need a 1080.
Yeah, exactly.
But believe me, when you start filling up your seed box, you start being a bit careful with what you're allowing.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
She's the same. I'm like, no, I'm not getting that. So I'm like, that's fine. You know what? I find a torrent for that stuff, and I use a premium service, and I don't, and I do what I gotta do.
Yeah, that's a great idea, honey.
I do what I gotta do. Okay, so a 5G service, which is that it's going to be done through the towers, through the cell towers. That's only available in certain areas. For my state, it's only in Charlotte, in Charlotte, and then they're going to branch out. So that stuff is going to be really, really good when it becomes available. But don't hold your breath for it to happen. So.
Who's that one guy? That's going to change the world.
Yeah, in Telegram. Yeah, we've already got it already. Oh Jesus. Was that in the Destiny chat? Oh,
Lordy.
I mean, we'll see. All right, so I guess that's about all. And I mean, glance at make sure nobody had messaged me on Telegram, and then I'm ignoring them, but I don't see. So that's good enough. Hopefully this answers you guys' questions that I know that myself, Blue, you, Kodi 1, you've gotten the same questions in the Destiny chat. How do I do this? So hopefully this gives you a base. I mean, we weren't trying to answer every one of your questions from start to finish of making a fork, but this gives you a solid base. And then some of it's going to just be you tweaking it and just playing around with it. Hopefully.
The first 2 minutes of the show, you forked it. Change the name, you change the art. Yeah. Then you go from there.
Yeah. And it was hopefully it'll make sense to you guys.
Change the name is, for example, it's not such a big deal on this because Destiny isn't in a repo, but if it had been in a repo and you don't change the name, when a new Destiny comes out, it'll overwrite yours. Same thing when you do a skin. If you're going to do an actual skin, best to rename it, because then either that or turn off auto updates in Kodi, because otherwise when the new version of it comes out, it wipes yours right out.
Yeah, you definitely need to, if you're gonna change the skin or change an add-on and you're wanting to keep what you've got, change the name. Change that name, because as soon as an update comes up, everything you had done prior is gone, and whatever the developer pushed. Oh, one other thing I was gonna mention, and that was on those default settings. You can, and Kodi 1 said this about that he made theirs basically a premium add-on. So it asked for Real Debrid on the very front end because he turned on Real Debrid as a default. When you do a fork in the settings, it will say true or false. If you say true, then it makes it turns it on. If you do false, it turns it off. So you can set your add-on to be a premium thing to where it's going to ask about that. You can set it and say, yes, I want it to be a Real Debrid only links. Yes, I want it to be fast things. So you can do that in the settings, XML.
True, it's on. False, it's off.
And you can do that and save it. And so that when someone installs it, that's the settings they have. So that can be done, again, fit your taste and fit your needs.
Yeah. It only sucks though if somebody doesn't have RD, because then they keep getting that pop-up and they have no idea how to turn it off.
Yeah. And Dwayne, I talked about that on Friday. If you go back and watch Friday's my Streaming Matters show, yes, quite a few repos shut down. One person was arrested that we know of. We don't know exactly who that is. We've had lots of rumors who that is. No proof of who that is, but bunches of repos shut down. Off the top of my head, Supremacy, Maverick, Legion and Unhinged, Eggman's 13 Clowns, StarTech. That Monster Munch, was that a cartoon thing?
No, that's what I heard, but I have no idea.
I don't know.
That was a gen. It was
okay,
a big one as well.
But it was a cartoony thing. I mean, Monster Munch. I saw that add-on went down, or they closed it.
Yeah.
Back in Time, that was an add-on that was shut down. And anything that was in those repos, like when anything that was in Supremacy repo. So you're talking Yoda and Supremacy, and there was like a slew. All those add-ons will be taken off. So those are gone. The developers those people have decided that it's not worth the risk, and that's fair. That's fair for them to say that, and they can quit at any time, because guess what? It's their work, their time. They're putting their ass on the line for people to have to be able to view TV and movies. So I got no problem with them people quitting if they want to quit. And this is here, we're showing you here, this is an option that if you're wanting to do something different, you don't want to have to rely on those other people, you can. This is something that you can do this and create it. There's 13 Clowns was an Exodus fork, and there is other Exodus forks still out there. So you can check into that and find out what works.
Someone was asking you how easy once a fork is it to add it to a wizard to keep separate, Diane.
I can barely hear you.
Sorry. I think Diane asked the question about once you forked it, putting it in a repo, but wizard, but keeping it separate.
Well, if you put it in a repo, it's available. And once it's on a repo, anybody that puts in that things, I mean, there is numerous people that are in the Kodi community that will post every repo they find. And once it's on that repo, if somebody installs your repo and puts your URL, they can pull any video add-on or music add-on or program add-on that's on that repo. They can pull it down. Hence the reason why, if you're a person that wants to stay on the repo, under the radar, you stay off of GitHub. If you make a repo, and you only share that repo name with your friends and family that you care about, and then that keeps it out. You put it in a Facebook group, a Telegram group.
You're screwed.
Yeah, it's out there. And because there's people that are just looking for those links because they want to post it on their master list of everybody's. Here's all the repos that you guys want to have. They want to be that. So if you're wanting to be small, you can put a repo on your own server, and you can do not be part of GitHub. Do not be part of GitHub. Do not be part of GitHub. If you want to be private.
I thought, oh my God, is it skipping?
Yeah, if you want to be private, okay? Because GitHub browser scans and will find your repo. I don't care how big or small, it can find repos, and those YouTuber / website people / Facebook posters will post it and say, here's where this repo is, and it has and they go through that repo and they will check to see what video add-ons, then they're going to go out and make a video for it. And
then you're screwed.
Then it's out there. And
although it's a really, really easy fix, you just change your repo address.
Well, yeah. But then you got to go around and do all that. So yeah.
Then you got to go around and give it to your friends again, the new one.
Yeah. So stay off of GitHub if you're wanting to stay private. If you want to be public, great. Hey, thank you for being public, but no, that's not us anymore. No. We prefer to stay small. We have a repo that nobody knows about. And guess what? That's quiet repo, and that's where it stays. So
Yeah, and servers are very cheap nowadays, especially if you want to just host an add-on on it, because you don't need much space.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it's very
I think I paid like $5 a month.
minimal space, and it's cheap, and it's worth having it to where I don't have to go to my friends and family's houses to install stuff. I mean, that's the reason why I still have a build, because I don't want to have to go to every one of my families and fix their stuff manually. I can just say, just run the wizard, it'll install. And that's, I don't really care about being on the Kodi app's top 10 builds. I don't care. I'd rather not be up there because, to be honest,
You're on there.
I'm
Well,
on the list.
I know.
But
I
I'm
never
way at the bottom of you. Look, I'm like almost the very last one on it. Which
Yeah,
is fine.
I actually technically have the best build out there right now. I'm not on that list, but I don't know. People frown upon, 2 add-ons and estuary skin, not modded at all.
Not estuary.
Honestly, I wipe my Kodi so many times a friggin' day, I can't be bothered to skin anymore because it's like,
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, hopefully that answers everyone's question. Hey, Juggernaut, I guess you're going to have to put a bell for me. I mean, people, if you don't get alerts, I guess I don't say it enough. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to get those notifications. Wasn't that pretty good?
It was good.
That was pretty good. But yeah, if you want to get those notifications, I watch me, don't watch me, learn, hopefully, I guess. But hey, you got anything to finish up with you, Kodi? Anything you want to tell people before we roll out?
No, enjoy it, play with it. It's fun. Don't release it.
That sounded really, really dirty.
I know. I was thinking I've said that before.
Take it, play with it some more, but don't release it.
Release the Kraken.
Yeah, no, don't. No, and I know people are gonna say, "Oh, that's hypocritical," because well, not me, but the Death Star have just released it. But if you're willing to literally work constantly on something, then go for it. Thank you very much, but you probably don't want the hassle. Trust me. Trust me, you don't want the hassle.
Getting DMs day and night.
Oh, you don't want it.
It's broke. It don't work.
Yeah, there was one night. It was this week. I woke up to 700, not personal messages in the chat, and I'm going through it, and I can see. So Mark's gone in and tried to fix it, and then got bored, and he's gone away, and then Blue's come in. She spent like an hour, and then she's got bored, and she's gone away, and then you can just see, and it goes on and on and on. And it's just like, yeah, just take it, make it movies. It's awesome, and enjoy it with friends and family. That is the way.
Hey, Blue, what do you have O'Neill's URL to post there? Because someone was asking about a server. And again,
get them to hit up in the comments after.
I'm trying. It's what is it?
Anti-social host.
Anti. I was like, I know it's anti. Hold on a second. I'll get you the home.
Really good.
And it's inexpensive. And again, we know know him. So are we being biased? Sure we are. But we know him, we trust him. He's a good guy. He's been in Kodi for a long time, been on my show numerous times. What's it, $4 or $5 a month? Something like that.
Yeah.
And he helps you if you have an issues. Now, he will not build a website for you. No. He's not going to build your website, and he will not be there for 24/7 support. The guy's got a life, and for $4, $5 a month, you can't expect a guy to be sitting there at your beck and call, to get it. So, but there's other options. I know I saw a few things where people mentioned other options, but to me, we've had some other options. I've had 2 other hosts. One kicked me out, and one kept going on the prices, up on the prices. So I found that Carl does a great job, and it's a fair deal. It's a very fair deal. If you want dedicated server hosting, he has that too. Mine is a shared because I'm not that popular. I don't have a massive. I'm not some big add-on or some humongous.
Oh, honey, you're very popular.
Small guy.
You are.
Just a small guy. GoDaddy, I would say no.
Nope.
They will drop you in a like a hot potato.
Yeah.
They will drop you in a hot potato, and you will not get a warning. Because how many people do you know, you Cody, that's had that issue in some of your circles?
GoDaddy hosting no. If you dare, no. You may as well just go with
Talk
the
to
free one.
O'Neill.
Yeah, talk to O'Neill, or if it is literally friends and family, just stick it on. What is it? Is it Webhouse? Yeah, just stick it on there.
If you're real small, if you can stay
If
real
it's your
small.
family, yeah, just stick it on there. Or I don't know. Do people still use Archive nowadays? I've not used it.
Yeah, Archive works, but again, another one of Archives, if they flag you for over usage, it's another one of those. Whoosh, it's gone, and there's no warning. Let me pull my files off. No, it's gone. It's just done. That's the problem with stuff like that. I think if you go with a good host that you can trust, if there was a problem and they started to get some heat, you probably would get a call or a text saying, "Hey, we're getting somebody's asking about your site. We're getting some information. You may want to go ahead and remove your stuff," or you probably would get a heads up.
Yeah.
So hopefully we answered all your questions, folks. Blue, did you have anything you want to finish with before I roll out?
No, just hope that you guys find the forking version of this video helpful. Pretty easy.
Fork that add-on. Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can get 15 Destiny forks.
You know what I actually thought
tomorrow.
was kind of funny though is that anybody who's ever made a gen, people had actually made gens and then they said, "Well, how do I fork an add-on?" You just forked an add-on. You just forked gen. It was called gen, and now it's not called gen. It's called whatever you called it with your artwork. That's forking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cloning essentially, right?
Yep.
But then you make it your own after that. Add code, like Todd said, add code, take away code, move around code.
Yep.
But honestly, the best way to learn how to code in Cody is to have an add-on and mess around with it. You're gonna break the crap out of it. To back stuff up.
Yeah, have a backup. Have a backup zip of what you.
Honestly, all you need is one little space out of place, and your add-on will not work.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't play with other people's add-ons, not really. So you make your own, fuck around with it, comment out sections to see what that affects, and it gives you a better idea of what each part does. But I mean, most people won't because they can't be bothered. But it is fun to kind of map it out. So good luck with that.
Yeah, I was looking. I had
you guys put the template out there now? Can people get hold of the template?
Yeah, the 1.2.9 was out there. The Destiny fork.
Yeah, we threw it in Destiny chat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool.
You can throw it wherever you want. We don't care. It's a freebie template.
I'm looking. I've got a thing that somebody posted, and someone just asked which repos were shut down, and it said StarTech, Maverick, Supremacy, BAMF, which was back in time, Steptoe, and it says Cellar Door for Redemption, but Cellar Door's repo is not closed. Maybe just Redemption's shut down, so I'm not sure about that one.
Shut down, yeah.
13 Clowns, Eggman, Legion of Unhinged, Maverick, Supremacy. Those are the repos as of Friday. I think I saw those, and there was somebody else had shut down. But that's going to happen, and hats off to the guys for what the work they did, and women that when they did that stuff and created an add-on. But you know what? Can't argue with them if they want to stop. So, thank you, Grindhouse. That's the most of the stuff there that's shut down. So again, hopefully this helps you guys. You make a little bit of a fork, mess around with it, have some fun, and we will add that little bit of code that Cody1 found about that one, the one, make a 0 a 1, excuse me, to help with that caching issue, and we're going to post it in the Telegram group for Destiny. This will not be on a repo unless somebody else puts it out on a repo. If you're not going to spend the time to just get on the Telegram group to get the zip, then you're probably not going to put in the time to actually make an add-on. So You know, that's that. You know, if you don't put the effort, you're not going to get reward. Thanks for everyone watching. All my regular people that are on here, Diane and Lou, all these people that I see in here, every single video that I do. Thank you for watching on there. Jug, make sure to hit the bell. Make sure you don't miss it. I don't want you to miss when my videos are out. You know, it's important stuff. All right, y'all. So thanks for watching, and I hope that we helped you a little bit. Thanks.